There is a battle taking place every single day, and almost no one can see it. It is not fought with weapons. It is not fought against another person. It is fought within you. Every word you speak, every emotion you express, every coin you spend, and every thought you entertain becomes either a step toward freedom or a chain that quietly holds you back. Most people believe success begins with intelligence, talent, or opportunity. But look closely, and you will discover something different. A person can possess extraordinary talent and still destroy their future because they cannot control their tongue. They can have endless opportunities and lose them because their emotions decide for them. They can earn great wealth and remain poor because they never learned discipline. They can have a brilliant mind yet live in constant suffering because they never became its master. Life does not punish you for lacking ability. More often, it reflects the parts of yourself you have refused to govern. The greatest victories are rarely won in public. They happen in silence, in the small moments when no one is watching. The moment you choose not to respond with anger, the moment you remain silent instead of speaking words you will later regret. The moment you refuse to spend for temporary satisfaction. The moment you recognize a negative thought and let it pass instead of allowing it to become your reality. Many people spend years trying to control the world around them. They try to change people, fix circumstances, and force outcomes. Yet they ignore the only kingdom they were ever meant to rule, the one within themselves. If you cannot command your own mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind, how can you expect to command your destiny? Every careless word weakens trust. Every uncontrolled emotion steals your peace. Every impulsive purchase delays your freedom. Every undisciplined thought shapes a life you never intended to live. These four forces quietly decide the quality of your future long before the results become visible. Imagine becoming the kind of person who speaks only when their words bring value. Imagine remaining calm while others lose themselves in frustration. Imagine using money with purpose instead of emotion. Imagine a mind so clear and disciplined that fear, doubt, and distraction no longer dictate your choices. This is not a fantasy. It is the natural result of consistent self-mastery. The world celebrates those who appear powerful, but true power has never been loud. It is found in restraint. It is found in patience. It is found in the ability to pause before reacting and to choose wisdom over impulse. The strongest person in the room is rarely the one who speaks the most. It is often the one who has learned when silence is more valuable than words. Today is not about becoming someone else. It is about removing everything that weakens the person you already have the potential to become. Because when your mouth speaks with intention, your mood remains steady under pressure, your money serves your purpose, and your mind obeys your highest values. Your life begins to change from the inside out. And once that transformation begins, no obstacle, no criticism, and no external circumstance can take away the strength you have built within. Words are among the most powerful tools a human being possesses. They have the ability to build trust, inspire hope, heal wounds, strengthen relationships, and create opportunities that may last a lifetime. Yet the same words, when spoken carelessly, can destroy years of respect within seconds. This is why mastering your mouth is not about speaking less for the sake of silence. It is about understanding that every word carries energy, intention, and consequence. Before your words leave your lips, they already begin shaping your character. They reveal the state of your mind long before people discover who you truly are. A disciplined person does not measure strength by how quickly they can respond. They measure strength by how wisely they choose their response. Many people believe that honesty means saying everything they think. But wisdom teaches something different. Not every thought deserves to become a sentence, and not every emotion deserves to become a conversation. The mind produces thousands of thoughts every day. Some are useful, while many are temporary reactions born from frustration, fear, jealousy, or pride. If you give every passing emotion a voice, you become a servant to your impulses instead of a master of yourself. The strongest individuals learn to let many thoughts pass without acting on them. They understand that silence is often a greater expression of intelligence than unnecessary speech. Observe people during moments of conflict. One person reacts instantly, raising their voice and defending every opinion. Another remains calm, listens carefully, and speaks only after understanding the situation completely. Which person appears stronger? The one who shouts may feel powerful for a moment, but true strength belongs to the one who refuses to let emotion control their tongue. Calm speech reflects a calm mind, and a calm mind is difficult to defeat. When your words are guided by awareness rather than emotion, they carry weight. People listen because they know you do not speak carelessly. Every unnecessary argument begins with a sentence that did not need to be spoken. Every broken friendship often starts with words that could have been replaced with patience. Every damaged reputation can often be traced back to moments when emotion spoke louder than wisdom. This is why discipline begins long before action. It begins in the space between feeling something and expressing it. That small pause is where maturity lives. It is where self-control transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. Learning to control your mouth also means learning the value of listening. Most people listen only to prepare their next response. Very few listen to understand, but understanding changes everything. When you truly hear another person, you reduce misunderstandings, avoid unnecessary conflict, and create genuine connection. Listening is not passive. It is an active form of respect. It allows you to gather knowledge before offering opinions. Those who speak less often notice more, and those who notice more usually make better decisions. There will be moments when people insult you, misunderstand your intentions, or challenge your beliefs. Your first impulse may be to defend yourself immediately, but ask yourself whether every battle deserves your attention. Not every criticism requires an answer. Not every accusation deserves your energy. Sometimes your greatest response is your continued peace. Silence is not weakness when it is chosen with awareness. It becomes a declaration that your inner stability is more valuable than winning an argument. Your words also become promises that shape your own identity. If you constantly complain, your mind begins searching for more reasons to complain. If you speak with gratitude, your attention naturally shifts toward opportunities and blessings. Speech influences thought just as thought influences speech. This cycle either strengthens your discipline or weakens it. Every conversation becomes practice for the person you are becoming. Every sentence reinforces either confidence or doubt, kindness or bitterness, wisdom or impulsiveness. Consider the people you admire most. They rarely waste words trying to impress others. They speak with purpose, clarity, and sincerity. Their confidence does not come from talking more. It comes from knowing that when they do speak, their words reflect integrity. They understand that respect cannot be demanded through loud voices or clever arguments. It is earned through consistency between what they say and how they live. A disciplined mouth is not merely careful with language. It is aligned with character. Each day offers countless opportunities to strengthen this discipline. Before speaking, ask whether your words are true, whether they are necessary, and whether they will improve the moment rather than damage it. If the answer is no, silence becomes the wiser choice. Over time, this simple practice transforms not only your conversations, but also your relationships, your reputation, and your inner peace. You begin to realize that controlling your mouth is not about suppressing your voice. It is about ensuring that every word you release reflects the highest version of yourself, allowing wisdom to guide expression instead of impulse, patience to replace reaction, and thoughtful silence to become a source of lasting strength. Your mood is one of the few things that can either become your greatest strength or your greatest weakness. It influences the way you speak, the decisions you make, the relationships you build, and the direction your life takes. Yet most people never learn to manage it. Instead, they allow their emotions to rise and fall with every circumstance. A single criticism ruins their entire day. One unexpected problem steals their peace. One difficult conversation changes their attitude toward everyone they meet. Without realizing it, they hand over control of their inner world to events they cannot control. True strength begins the moment you decide that your mood will no longer be determined by the behavior of others or the unpredictability of life. Every emotion has a purpose, but not every emotion deserves to become your leader. Anger can warn you that something is wrong. Fear can encourage caution. Sadness can remind you to reflect and heal. But when these emotions remain in charge for too long, they begin making decisions that wisdom never would. A person acting from uncontrolled anger often speaks words they regret. A person ruled by fear avoids opportunities that could transform their future. A person trapped in frustration starts seeing obstacles where possibilities once existed. Emotions are valuable messengers, but they make poor masters. The mistake many people make is believing they must react immediately to everything they feel. They confuse emotion with action as though every feeling requires an instant response. In reality, there is always a space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. That space may only last a few seconds, but within it lies your freedom. The disciplined individual protects that space. They pause before speaking. They breathe before reacting. They observe their emotions instead of becoming consumed by them. This simple habit separates those who are controlled by life from those who quietly master it. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls around you, the rain falls heavily, and everything appears chaotic. Now imagine standing beneath the surface of the ocean during that same storm. While the waves crash above, the deeper water remains calm and undisturbed. Your mind can become like those deep waters. Life will always bring challenges, disappointments, criticism, and unexpected change. The goal is not to eliminate the storms. The goal is to cultivate such inner stability that external chaos no longer dictates your emotional state. People often believe that emotionally disciplined individuals never experience frustration, disappointment, or sadness. The truth is quite the opposite. They feel every emotion deeply, but they refuse to let those emotions define their behavior. They acknowledge what they feel without allowing it to take control. They understand that emotions naturally come and go like clouds passing through the sky. Holding onto them only prolongs unnecessary suffering. By observing feelings without becoming attached to them, they preserve their clarity even during difficult moments. Your mood is also influenced by what you repeatedly feed your mind. If your days are filled with constant negativity, endless comparison, and unnecessary distractions, your emotional state will eventually reflect those influences. If you surround yourself with gratitude, meaningful work, healthy relationships, and moments of quiet reflection, your inner world becomes stronger. Emotional discipline is not created in one dramatic moment. It is built through small daily choices that shape your thoughts, habits, and perspective over time. There will always be people who attempt to provoke you. Some will criticize unfairly. Others will misunderstand your intentions. A few may even try to pull you into conflict simply because they cannot manage their own emotions. When you allow them to control your mood, you surrender your power without realizing it. But when you remain calm, you protect something far more valuable than your pride. You protect your peace. A calm response often speaks louder than an emotional reaction because it demonstrates that your character cannot be manipulated by the actions of others. The greatest leaders, teachers, and individuals of strong character are not remembered because they never faced emotional challenges. They are remembered because they remained steady when others became overwhelmed. Their calmness inspired confidence. Their patience created trust. Their ability to remain composed under pressure became a source of strength for everyone around them. This level of emotional stability is available to anyone willing to practice awareness every single day. As you continue through life, remember that your mood is a responsibility, not a coincidence. It is shaped by the thoughts you entertain, the habits you practice, the people you allow into your life, and the discipline you develop within yourself. Every moment presents another opportunity to choose peace over panic, patience over frustration, and wisdom over impulse, until your emotional balance becomes so deeply rooted that no temporary circumstance can shake the quiet strength you have carefully built within. Money is one of the greatest tests of self-discipline because it quietly reveals how well you control your desires. It is not the amount of money you possess that determines your future, but the wisdom with which you manage it. Many people spend years working hard to earn more, believing that a larger income will automatically solve their problems. Yet, history is filled with individuals who earned fortunes only to lose everything because they lacked discipline. Wealth without self-control disappears as quickly as it arrives. Financial freedom is not created by luck. It is built through patience, thoughtful decisions, and the ability to distinguish between what you want today and what truly serves your future. Money itself is neither good nor bad. It is simply a tool. Like any tool, its value depends on the hands that use it. In the hands of a disciplined person, money becomes a source of opportunity, security, and generosity. In the hands of someone driven by impulse, it becomes a source of stress, debt, and endless dissatisfaction. This is why mastering money begins long before you open your wallet. It begins within your mind. If your emotions control your spending, no amount of income will ever feel enough. But if wisdom guides your choices, even modest resources can create a stable and meaningful life. One of the greatest traps people fall into is confusing pleasure with happiness. They purchase things they do not truly need, hoping that each new possession will fill an emptiness within them. For a brief moment, excitement appears. The purchase feels rewarding, but soon that feeling fades and another desire takes its place. This cycle continues endlessly because material possessions cannot satisfy a restless mind. The disciplined individual recognizes this pattern. They understand that lasting peace comes from purpose, not consumption. They buy with intention instead of emotion, knowing that every financial decision reflects the values they choose to live by. Patience is one of the most valuable forms of wealth. In a world that encourages instant gratification, the ability to wait has become increasingly rare. People want immediate success, immediate comfort, and immediate rewards. They borrow against tomorrow to satisfy today's impulses, but every unnecessary debt limits future freedom. Every impulsive purchase delays long-term goals. Those who learn to delay gratification discover something remarkable. The satisfaction of achieving lasting stability is far greater than the temporary excitement of careless spending. They understand that true abundance is built quietly through consistent choices made over many years. Financial discipline also teaches responsibility. Every coin you earn represents time, effort, energy, and sacrifice. When you waste money carelessly, you are often wasting the hours of your own life that were required to earn it. This simple realization changes the way you see every purchase. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" you begin asking, "Is this worthy of the time I exchanged for it?" That question encourages awareness. It transforms spending from an emotional reaction into a thoughtful decision aligned with your priorities. Many people compare their financial lives to others. They see expensive homes, luxury cars, designer clothing, and glamorous lifestyles, believing they must keep up to appear successful. Yet comparison is one of the fastest paths to financial anxiety. You rarely see the debts, pressures, or sacrifices hidden behind appearances. A disciplined person does not measure success by outward display. They measure it by inner stability. They value peace over prestige, security over status, and freedom over constant consumption. Their confidence comes from knowing they are building a future instead of performing one. Money also provides opportunities to serve others. Financial wisdom is not only about saving or investing. It is also about generosity guided by discernment. When your finances are healthy, you gain the ability to support your family, help those in need, contribute to meaningful causes, and create opportunities for future generations. In this way, disciplined money management extends beyond personal benefit. It becomes a way of creating positive impact in the lives of others. The purpose of wealth is not merely possession, but responsible stewardship. There will always be temptations promising quick riches, effortless success, or instant rewards. These promises often appeal to impatience rather than wisdom. Lasting prosperity is rarely dramatic. It is usually built quietly through honesty, consistency, careful planning, and disciplined habits repeated over time. Small daily decisions eventually shape extraordinary outcomes. The person who saves consistently, spends thoughtfully, and remains patient often achieves far greater freedom than the person constantly chasing shortcuts. As you strengthen your relationship with money, remember that every financial choice reflects the condition of your character. When your desires are guided by discipline instead of impulse, money becomes a faithful servant rather than a demanding master. It supports your purpose instead of controlling your decisions, allowing you to live with greater confidence, deeper peace, stronger independence, and the quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing your resources are working in harmony with the life you are intentionally creating. Your mind is the place where every victory begins and where every defeat first takes shape. Long before your actions become visible to the world, they are quietly formed by the thoughts you repeatedly entertain. Every belief, every habit, every decision, and every dream is influenced by the condition of your mind. This is why the greatest battle you will ever fight is not against difficult people or challenging circumstances. It is against the distractions, fears, doubts, and illusions that constantly compete for your attention. The person who learns to master the mind gains an advantage that no external success can replace. Because once your thoughts become disciplined, your life naturally begins to move in the same direction. Most people spend their days reacting to whatever appears in their minds. A negative thought arrives, and they immediately believe it. A fear appears, and they treat it as reality. A memory of failure returns, and they allow it to define what they believe is possible. Without realizing it, they become prisoners of thoughts they never consciously chose. But your mind is like a garden. If you neglect it, weeds will grow naturally. Fear, doubt, anger, envy, and worry require no effort to appear. They simply arrive. Wisdom comes from recognizing that you do not have to give every thought permission to stay. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it deserves your attention or your belief. Awareness is the first step toward mental freedom. Before you can direct your mind, you must first observe it. Spend a moment noticing your thoughts instead of immediately following them. You will discover that many of them repeat the same stories every day. Some remind you of past mistakes. Others predict future problems that may never happen. Many are simply habits created by years of unconscious thinking. The moment you begin observing these patterns without becoming attached to them, you create space for wisdom to enter. Instead of reacting automatically, you begin choosing deliberately. This simple shift changes everything because it transforms you from a passenger into the driver of your own life. The disciplined mind understands the difference between facts and assumptions. Imagine facing a difficult situation. An undisciplined mind immediately creates stories filled with fear and uncertainty. It assumes the worst before any evidence exists. A disciplined mind, however, remains patient. It gathers information, stays present, and refuses to let imagination become reality. This ability to remain grounded protects your energy from being wasted on unnecessary suffering. Many of the battles people fight exist only in their thoughts, yet they experience the stress as though those imagined events have already happened. Focus is another expression of mental strength. Modern life constantly competes for your attention. Endless notifications, distractions, opinions, and entertainment pull your mind in countless directions. A scattered mind struggles to create meaningful progress because it never remains with one purpose long enough to see results. Every distraction weakens concentration. Every unnecessary comparison steals confidence. Every hour spent feeding the mind with noise reduces its ability to hear wisdom. Training your mind means learning to protect your attention as one of your most valuable possessions. What you repeatedly focus on eventually becomes the foundation of your character. A disciplined mind also understands the importance of inner dialogue. The conversations you have with yourself shape the way you experience the world. If you constantly tell yourself that you are incapable, unlucky, or destined to fail, your actions will eventually reflect those beliefs. If you remind yourself that every challenge is an opportunity to grow, your perspective begins to change. This is not about pretending that difficulties do not exist. It is about choosing thoughts that strengthen rather than weaken your ability to face them. Your inner voice should become a guide that encourages responsibility, courage, and perseverance instead of fear and self-doubt. Patience is another quality of a well-trained mind. The mind naturally seeks immediate answers, quick results, and instant certainty, but life unfolds according to its own rhythm. Growth cannot be rushed. Wisdom cannot be forced. The disciplined person accepts this reality. They continue working even when progress feels slow, because they understand that meaningful transformation happens through consistency rather than speed. They trust the process instead of becoming discouraged by temporary setbacks. This quiet confidence allows them to remain steady, while others abandon their path at the first sign of difficulty. Every day presents countless opportunities to strengthen your mind. Each time you choose focus over distraction, gratitude over complaint, courage over fear, and awareness over impulse, your mental discipline grows stronger. These choices may appear small, but they gradually reshape the way you think, respond, and live. Over time, your mind becomes less influenced by external circumstances and more guided by inner clarity. You begin to recognize that peace is not something the world gives you, but something your disciplined mind creates from within. Allowing wisdom to direct every decision, resilience to overcome every challenge, and unwavering purpose to illuminate every step you take, regardless of what life places before you. True freedom is often misunderstood. Many people believe freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want, without limits or responsibility. They see discipline as restriction and self-control, as something that prevents them from enjoying life. Yet if you observe carefully, you will notice a different reality. The person who cannot control their habits is controlled by them. The person who cannot control their emotions becomes a prisoner of every situation. The person who cannot control their desires is constantly chasing temporary satisfaction without ever finding lasting peace. What appears to be freedom is often another form of bondage. Genuine freedom is not the absence of discipline. It is the reward that discipline quietly provides. Every meaningful achievement in life is built upon consistent daily choices. No one wakes up one morning with extraordinary character. No one suddenly becomes wise, calm, financially responsible, or mentally strong overnight. These qualities are developed through repeated actions that often seem small and insignificant in the moment. A single day of discipline may not transform your life, but hundreds of disciplined days certainly will. Just as a river slowly shapes stone through constant movement, your daily habits quietly shape the person you become. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to suffer. It is about teaching yourself to choose what is valuable over what is merely comfortable. Comfort offers immediate pleasure, but often leaves lasting regret. Discipline may feel difficult today, but it creates opportunities that comfort never can. Every time you wake up when you plan to, complete the work you promised yourself, remain calm instead of reacting, or make a wise decision instead of an easy one, you strengthen the foundation of your character. These moments rarely receive applause from the world, but they are the moments that determine your future. Many people wait until they feel motivated before taking action. They believe inspiration must arrive first. But motivation is unpredictable. It appears and disappears like changing weather. If your progress depends on how you feel, your results will always be inconsistent. Discipline is different. It continues working even when motivation is absent. It keeps moving forward on ordinary days, difficult days, and uncertain days. This consistency is what separates those who only dream from those who quietly transform their lives. They do not rely on excitement. They rely on commitment. There will always be distractions inviting you away from your purpose. The world constantly offers shortcuts, easy pleasures, endless entertainment, and immediate gratification. None of these things are necessarily harmful on their own, but when they become habits, they steal your attention from what truly matters. Every distraction asks for only a few moments, yet those moments slowly accumulate into weeks, months, and years. The disciplined individual understands that time is one of life's most valuable resources. They protect it carefully because they know that once a day has passed, it can never be recovered. Another important truth about discipline is that it creates confidence. Many people search for confidence through praise, recognition, or approval from others. But lasting confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you follow through on your commitments, no matter how small, you strengthen your trust in yourself. You begin believing your own words because your actions consistently support them. This inner trust becomes a quiet source of strength that no criticism or external challenge can easily destroy. You no longer depend on others to convince you of your worth because your discipline has already proven it to you. Discipline also brings peace. A disorganized life often creates unnecessary stress because responsibilities are ignored until they become urgent. Financial problems grow because spending lacks restraint. Relationships suffer because emotions are unmanaged. Health declines because healthy habits are postponed. Yet when discipline becomes part of your daily life, many of these burdens begin to disappear. Order replaces chaos. Clarity replaces confusion. Purpose replaces aimlessness. You spend less energy fixing preventable problems and more energy building a meaningful future. Remember that discipline is not measured by grand achievements, but by ordinary moments. It is found in the choices no one else notices. It is choosing patience when frustration feels easier. It is speaking with kindness when anger wants to take over. It is saving when spending feels tempting. It is continuing your work when no one is watching. These small acts may appear insignificant, but together they create an unshakable life built upon integrity and self-respect. As you continue your journey, understand that every disciplined decision becomes another brick in the foundation of the person you are becoming. You may not always see immediate results, but each choice strengthens your character, sharpens your mind, steadies your emotions, and aligns your actions with your highest values until discipline is no longer something you force yourself to practice, but becomes the natural expression of a life guided by purpose, wisdom, resilience, and the quiet freedom that comes from complete mastery over yourself.